Okay, this is Amy. So we're going to get started again, and we're going to start with the house here in Lancaster. Could you tell us how you found the property?
I was happy living on East Delvin, right around my mother. I never even, and Grandpa would look housing all the time. Being from this area, when he seen this was all barren here, this was nothing here, and he happened to see it in the paper. Let's go look at the one home. And we kind of liked that home, and so he's the one that found it, because he was looking all the time.
So it was an empty lot?
It was all this whole area was empty. At one time it was a nursery, they tell us. And we had the choice of our home. We could have had the house next door or there. But we took this one because newer homes were behind us. And the other ones were all older homes. So we decided this was going to be the one we wanted. And the builder was a friend. He went to school with Grandpa. And Grandpa trusted him, thinking, I know this man, he's going to be good, which he wasn't. We had a lot of issues, and we almost backed out. And his lawyer was Gumbati, so they worked together. So we had a lot of good things. We had a good lawyer. He fought for us, and like you said, the issue with the doorknobs, we wanted glass doorknobs, and that never materialized. And that the frame over that should have been all wood, and that would go into the living room, and that never did. So there were a lot of little things. And then the fan here should have been connected outside and was connected right into the attic, and that was unacceptable, and we fought that, and finally they had to put it that it would vent outside. So there were a lot of issues.
Was your lawyer Italian?
No, he's a Polish.
Okay, it sounded almost like an Italian.
No, the other
name,
one was
okay.
for Castle Beatry was, but Castle Beatry actually got into a lot of trouble. He got into drugs and everything else, and he ended up in jail anyway. He died in jail. So.
Does anybody else have any other questions regarding the house?
So you only added the garage on to the house? Is that it?
And the back patio.
And the back patio? What was that like? What was it like just going through all the construction and building of it?
The patio and the garage? Oh, the garage was fun because they done it piecemeal and weekends, and Grandpa and the neighbors came and helped, and it was a fun kind of a project.
Did it take very long?
It did take really, getting the form up was, you had to have a carpenter to know that, and so, well, once that was all put together, Grandpa done it, we went 2, 3 with the neighbors and got it going.
It almost sounds like a barn raising.
Yeah,
where everyone
really,
comes together. And
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
This sounds
too.
fantastic.
Because that's what they done. We helped one another. Moravsky was building, Grandpa would go over there, and everybody helped one another because nobody really had money to, hire, so they done that. And the patio, of course, we procrastinated for a long time. Grandpa wanted a room back there, and I said, I don't want to pay taxes on it. And he never really, it was finished at the end of September, October, and then he died in December. He really never got to enjoy the back room at all. So.
Do you think, as a family, you all spent more time overall in the kitchen or in the living room?
A living room.
Okay.
There was the paper. Kids would put the paper on the floor, read the paper, and television would be on, and
I'm personally interested in the animals. First of all, you said your dad raised rabbits and liked rabbits. Do you remember any of the rabbits' names?
No, at that time there were not named rabbits. Honey, they were just rabbits.
Rabbit number 1.
Rabbit one, rabbit two.
Rabbit number 45.
This is a mother. Keep her away from the father. We don't have
Did you have any pets as a child growing up?
Yes,
What did you have?
we had dogs. Always dogs. Bumsy and Fritzy.
And what kind were they?
They were mixed terriers.
Aww.
Fritzy she was running the street, and Grandpa seen her and called her, and she came to him. And then he wanted to have her to have a puppy, so he didn't just want any dog. He seen the dogs coming through. That's the one. He let her in the gate, and And that was it. And then she had Bossy.
Who named them?
We did, as kids. Fritzy and
It's always a
Bossy.
smart
I think
choice.
they're adorable.
And Fritzy only had the one baby. There was a cute little bundle. And so then after that, after they were put down, we got a Cocker Spaniel,
What was
Ginger.
Oh.
She had the ginger color.
And did Grandpa have any dogs growing up that you know of?
In the old country, I don't think they did. They probably, had dogs in the barn or whatever.
So
But
he grew up on a farm.
yes, he did.
And what did they do?
They raised cattle, honey. That was their livelihood. They
What was it?
the
Dairy
chickens
or
for and eggs and the cows for the milk and for the meat.
Just like traditional farming.
Yeah,
And did he have any horses?
they did. Would you believe he did have a horse and he got kicked in the head?
What?
And he had a bump on his head all the time.
Forever?
Mm.
Do you remember the horse's name? Stop laughing at me.
It was horse. That's all. He never mentioned it. Was
Bad
just,
horse.
Oh my god.
Killer horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when Auntie Anna comes, she might
You know what
not
kind of
remember.
horse it was?
I don't even know.
He got very lucky.
Yeah, he was kicked right in the head.
How old was he?
He probably was maybe 14 years
Oh
old.
my god,
I
you've all
never
been
knew
kicked by a
that.
horse. You've not been kicked by a horse.
Have you been kicked by the horse in the head?
I've been kicked everywhere. I mean, that's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that bump on his head till the day he died.
Wow.
Wow.
And he was in the hospital one time, but they wanted to,
Oh, don't
Uh,
fix
He's
it.
like, I've
Don't
been
touch it.
okay this
That's
long.
fine.
Yeah,
That's-
it's all right.
That's when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
No.
Let's just leave it. It's the new normal.
Oh.
So then the dogs you had once you were married and had kids were Cindy and Candy, and could you just tell us how they came about?
Well, Grandpa was, of course, he was a salesperson, and he was at the gas station, and they had the one in there, and he said, she's a throwback, she should be a full-blood, purebred shepherd, and she's not, so we're going to put her down. No, I'll take her. And they both, it was the same way. So that's how we got both of them in. Well, of course, your dad, being the lover of the dog, he had him in a box. It says, I left something in the car, in the back seat, in a box. Would you get that for me? And there the puppy was.
Aww.
Dad never did that to me. I had to bring him home on my
Because
own.
you had
And so Cindy was supposed to be a German Shepherd, and what was Candy supposed to be?
Shepherd. Both of them shepherds.
Both of them German Shepherds, really?
Cool.
Cindy was more shepherd. She had the color. Candy was the
like a
collie. She had collie colors, and she had all the long fur and everything else. She was more collie.
Okay. How did you choose your sons' names?
Michael was chosen by Grandpa because of his brother. And James also was Grandpa's choice. And then when Joey came along, I said, I am having a Joseph whether you want it or not.
Aww.
And because he didn't want a junior. So he said, okay, I will, but it can't be no middle name. It has to be a different middle
I was gonna
name.
ask.
Yeah,
How did you
What
come
is his
up
name?
with Gary? Because Dad never
Yeah.
knew, and he doesn't like his middle name.
Aunt Patty's friend, they had a little boy, Gary, and he was so precious.
Aww.
Such a nice little boy. And so that's where Gary came
Okay.
in. Yeah.
So
And-
he's-
but Grandpa didn't want Andrew. He's like, no,
Yeah.
Andrew, I don't want a junior. So
Do you know why he didn't want a junior?
he just didn't want it because years back they called him Junior.
Mm.
You didn't go by your name, it was Junior. And he didn't want that.
And so Joseph, Gary, James, Paul, and then what was Uncle Mike's middle name?
Michael James.
Michael James. Was that you didn't think that was weird that you had a Michael James and a James?
No. That was the two names Grandpa liked, Michael and James. So it was Michael James. And that was James Paul because Grandpa had Uncle maybe 10th time removed, and he was a real nice man, and that's where he liked that Paul from. So Grandpa named them, and I named the last one.
Okay. If you had a daughter, what would you have named?
It was going to be Jacqueline.
And why is that?
I just like the name.
And Was it stressful raising 3 boys?
Mike and Jim were wonderful because they they played together.
We're
You know,
ready.
they played together. They were together all the time. And when Joey came along, there's an age difference, so but no, it wasn't. I mean, no more stressful than they tell me girls. They say boys are easier to raise. So.
And what was the most expensive thing they've ever broke?
I can't even think of anything.
Didn't Dad break a lamp?
Yeah, we've heard about the lamp.
Well, the lamp, but that wasn't.
That was
That was not a
expensive.
big.
What was the biggest trouble they ever got in? Like the
Things that I didn't know, things I did not know about. Uncle Joe with his group, they ordered Kentucky Fried Chicken,
I remember this.
Okay.
No, keep
No, let her finish it.
and they said this is just kind of, and they were not thinking. They gave their phone number. They gave vendors down the street, and that's where they were when they made that phone call. So then Millie Fender calls and she said the boys had ordered Kentucky Fried Chicken as a joke. So we all had to chip in. The kids had to pay for it.
How much did they order?
I don't know, but I'm sure it was a good amount. They were
Did they
going to
eat
order.
it? Did they enjoy the food?
You know what? It was never picked up. They just paid for it.
Oh.
It was just... Sure, because it was hours later, where are these people? They were going to pick it up at such and such time and they're not here.
Was Grandpa like?
Oh
very
boy,
yeller?
oh boy, oh boy. Furious.
Was he a yeller? Did he?
It wasn't more the quiet.
No, he
no.
wasn't a yeller, but he raised his voice and you knew.
Were there any other specific times where he raised his voice and you knew?
Oh, you
Like
knew,
what?
you knew.
Like what kind of things did they do to bring that on?
It was probably mostly Uncle Joe.
You're right.
I don't think.
I was gonna say, are there any like funny stories about my dad, Mike, or Jim?
No, see, when they grew up, they all played together at the flats. The kids were gone all day, like I told you. They would go in the morning, and they'd come home for lunch, and then they would go back again. And your dad, what he done one time, they had 2 new bikes, and he walked home, left the bike at the flats. And all of a sudden, I said, oh my gosh, my bike. I said, oh, a brand new bike, it's not going to be there, but it was. But
Wow.
they played there all the time. They were into baseball, and then with football season, they played out there.
What was the proudest moment regarding your sons?
That
Like for each son individually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess each son's a specific
Well,
accomplishment or something
well,
like
just
that.
I'm going to St. Mary's for one thing, and then going to Canisius College, and just very proud that they all were able to find good jobs and good mates, happy mates.
What activities did you guys enjoy as a family?
Picnicking was the thing. We would do picnicking. We'd all, Auntie Anna and Aunt Ida and all that. And at times we would with Aunt Julie's and Aunt Estelle. I mean, 2 different families. But that was the big thing that time. They would play kickball and they would play baseball, and it would be different parks we would go to. And we used to go to Alcott Beach a lot too, because there was swimming there.
Did you guys ever take any big family vacations?
They went to PT reunions with us, a few of them. They went to Nashville. And they had they went with us to those kind of things. So,
Dad said they had to stay in the hotel room.
well, they did because you couldn't take them into the banquet room. It was just for adults. But this way they could at least see
Where the
Nashville.
ducks were.
That's where
The ducks, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they walk on a little carpet.
yeah, they had a carpet for them. That was,
They still do that. I've seen that on TV.
Mm-hmm.
they still do
They
it.
still do that.
And that was something to see. The certain hour they would be there and they would just
It's the duck
march.
parade.
Yeah. Right.
What advice would you give us on raising children?
Be firm. be lovable, compassionate. And be a good listener.
Okay, well, I think we're going to stop there for a little bit and come back.